Checkity check. Oh, the restream chat break on me again. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh well. Deal with that later. Okay, let's see if this is audio coming through here? I don't know. Let's see. I forget where my button is. It tells me. Yeah, it looks like. There we go. Okay. Okay, no guest tonight. Get going in a second here. Okay, welcome to episode 57. Dropping in a pipeline audio. Sorry, excuse me. This is the first Quarantinecast, and we're in lockdown here. You may be in some sort of lockdown where you're at. I hope you're okay. Here in Hawaii, we have it so far better than most. We don't have that many cases yet. Hopefully it stays that way. But they had some very ambiguous rules about exercise. There's people out surfing, and I guess that's okay, but no real place to ride, so I'm kind of going nuts. But, of course, it could be a whole lot worse, man. You guys in New York, man, that's looking super crazy rough. Well, I guess, the first thing, this sucks. This week, last week, Jason Rainey of Sacred Reich died. It says from a heart attack, and, if there's any silver lining here, he got spared this crap, I guess, that's coming up, but I'd just rather have him. A lot of you may know that band was instrumental in my career. The first record I ever really bought was Fear the Record. And I think the second one I really bought was actually Sacred Reich's Ignorance. And when I really first started working at a big studio, we had Dave Mustaine of Megadeth on one side and Sacred Reich doing an album on the other side. And I guess whenever Sacred Reich does an album for the Japanese release, they always put on a Fear cover. And Dave Mustaine was doing his solo album at the time, and he had, of all people, the singer on it was going to be Lee Ving, the singer from Fear. So here's my first two real influences, and one of them's doing a cover of the other one's song, and he actually came in and saw what the guys were doing, and ended up doing the intro and stuff, and man, we all had a lot of questions for him. And Jason Rainey was just an awesome person, as all the guys in Sacred Reich are, and man, you will be seriously missed, Jason Rainey. King amongst human beings. Also, yesterday, Aaron Ra announced that DPR Jones died. Not sure how that happened. Just said he collapsed, I guess. If you don't know him, he was part of the, if you're in the very first wave of podcasting, when the Infidel guy was around and was bringing, the regular public the knowledge of guys they might not know, like, all the science and skepticism guys, and people who were popular in some circles but not others, like, Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and Sam Harris and all those kind of guys. he also brought in guys like Thunderfoot and the original kind of the guys who made YouTube in the early days. And DPR Jones was definitely one of them. I think he was on the Magic Sandwich Show with Thunderfoot and everybody, but he was just a paragon, is that the right word, of skepticism, critical thinking, and rationality. And that's another huge loss we got. And you know, as this goes on, it's hard to believe, but people are still buying plugins and buying music hardware and studio stuff, and definitely watching the YouTube recording channels and everything. And I constantly still get ads in my email about new products and stuff. Pretty amazing that you know, life is going on. You know, I think most of the Western world, we're still ramping up. So, you know, it's just amazing that are we pretending things aren't happening, or are we just, you know, just moving on, you know? I think when this horror in Italy is over, maybe we're gonna start saying that, you know, there's gonna be a peak maybe, and things will be someday. They'll never be back to normal, I guess. But you know, you see all these guys in your email laying the foundation for the world that's coming, I guess, and that's pretty cool too. One of them, Restream, which I'm using right here. I use Restream so that my open broadcasting software can transmit to multiple sources at once, like Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Instead of, you know, you trying to send those all to that yourself with your own with your internet connection. That would get pretty sketchy pretty quick. Now they announced their own thing, Restream Studio, which is kind of like a lot of these browser-based streaming software. And man, I got to tell you, I am sick to death of just the price of these subscription things. You know, subscriptions in general. You know, the whole promise was that, you know, the world was going to get cheaper for us by buying these subscriptions, and we were going to protect the software developers from piracy, which is a good idea. But holy crap! Like my studio booking software, you know, the kind of stuff you used to buy for a one-time fee of like $50 or $75. It's like $300 or $500 a month is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is, and a lot of them are like this. It's just beyond belief how much this stuff costs now. And that tangent was because most of these streaming softwares that I see are like that too. And really their features for the most part suck. There's one called vMix, I think, that it is ridiculously expensive to me, but I think it has VST plugin support, which is actually pretty cool. But in general, this stuff it's just ridiculous. So Restream put out their Restream Studio. It was free when I tried it. It seemed to only have one audio source, and it uses your browser setting, but it did have a drop-down setting that was actually pretty good. There was some good stuff in it. Let me see if I can pull it up without breaking. Yeah, I'm actually kind of scared to pull it up. But it did allow you to pick different audio sources, and you could do screen sharing. I'm not sure how you're going to send the sound output of your screen to it. There may be a way, but you know, and this is why I harp on this. It seems like every single show I talk about just how ridiculously difficult it is to get your audio that you're hearing out of your speakers onto your stream. I really think that my company AIX DSP is on the way to fixing that problem. More on that hopefully next week. But speaking of us, actually, Warren Hewart, Produce Like a Pro, he did a video on our multi-band gate, and that was great. We got a lot of, kind of a lot of a market we may not have really had before. And it went really well. But you know, like everybody else, we've always had trouble supporting Logic, and I'm not sure if the software is, you know, if it's the software problem or it's the cool thing about Logic right now is that it kind of runs the range of people. Like, I know guys who have been sequencing that in Logic since forever, and they will never ever use anything else. But, you know, you can, it's so pushed on the Apple end of things that you get a lot of people who are brand new to stuff. So, you know, even on the Mac, you know, it's supposed to be super easy and everything. It's not always that easy to just install plugins and stuff. So supporting Logic, it's tricky. And it seems to have some routing. It seems to have little issues. And I've seen this before. I'm you know, talked to a lot of plugin developers. A lot of these things seem just so sensitive to routing, and yeah, right now we're catching up. But you know, we're always going to be. You can always reach our tech support. I hope you guys know that you can always reach us. You can reach me wherever, and so we're on it. We're going to try and make this easier for you. I really got to start making more videos and more frequently asked questions and more manual stuff. I really got to get on that. I'm having a lot of trouble getting ergonomic right now. You know, it's been tricky to set up as situations keep evolving. But I just got to get there. You know, chaos is probably going to be the new normal. So I just got to. And I've always thrived in chaos. Let's be honest about my life. So I should get back to this. And man, you know, so it's supporting a new audience, a new crowd. You know, his crowd seems to be people who are very much in the creation and recording of music, and they're not my normal crowd of kind of techies that are used to installing plugins and dealing with the, you know, fighting their computers for little tiny gains, you know. So we got a couple, not just a couple, we got some emails from people who are running 32-bit Pro Tools still. And wow. So as far as I know, we are going to make some builds so that you guys can use it too. I'm a little bit worried about how much power is left on those systems, but you know, we'll try it. And, you know, I think that's, I also heard a lot about guys running, is it Windows XP or Windows XP or Windows 7 with the Alive, what is it, the Venue system? When people rent those out, they're renting, I think Ed Rye told me this, they're running older versions of Windows. So I don't know how much power is in those either, you know. I don't know. I know some of the stuff runs on DSP or whatever, but wow. So, yeah, 32-bit Pro Tools, we are going to try, okay? If you guys got these other older systems, we're going to try that too. And, you know, we kind of, we're starting to get, again, a lot of new Samplitude users, and I think that might have been, that might be from Warren too. I've always watched people having trouble with VST3 plugins and Samplitude. And we're no exception. So we do have a VST2 version, and the Samplitude users report that seems to be working. So if you're having trouble with our VST3s and Samplitude, try the VST2s. They're in the same installer. And for you guys that are always ask a question about where the VST3 plugins go, Steinberg is really specific about where they want VST3 to be installed on Windows, and we just install there without question. So if you need to move them, that's where they are right now. Or maybe you can point your DAW at that. In fact, your DAW should be pointed there already, but if you do have a reason to move it, that's why it's there. So I had to bring home some files from the school so I could work at home. It was just some recordings. I actually had one of our kids' bands doing it pretty much themselves, and they did it on the big room computer, so I transferred it to some USB sticks. Actually, I transferred it to my portable USB drive, and when I plug that in at home on my laptop, it shuts the laptop down. So it doesn't shut any of the computers down here, and I guess maybe my laptop's croaking, and boy, do I not want that thing to croak if while this is going on. Wow, that would suck. In fact, it's doing this thing where, Revolver uses uses your USB stick as its dongle, and my USB stick, it like turns itself off or something, and Revolver, I have to unplug it and plug it back in order for Revolver's license to work. Anybody knows any tricks to fix that? I swear it didn't used to do that. It certainly doesn't do that on my big room, on my main computer. Maybe I need a powered USB hub, be able to order something like that. But anyway, I had pulled in the right folder, but I didn't pull in the correct Reaper project file. So I didn't have some of the vocals in the project file that I had, but I did have the vocals in the folder. And so in order to fix that, I don't know if you guys know this, but Reaper has a pretty handy feature. It's in item processing, and so if you grab all the WAV files that you got, drop them into Reaper, let it go in separate, put them on separate tracks. That's the smartest way, I think. Select them, and then right-click on any of the selected files and choose item processing, and you can choose move items to source preferred position, I think it's called, and they all end up exactly where they're supposed to be. And after that, I was able to just kind of reconstruct the vocals and put them into takes and everything else, and that will save your bacon big time. Especially if you didn't save your project or something, but you had a bunch of stuff recorded. You know how that goes. Reaper will actually save your WAV recordings up to the point where your power gets shut off on your computer. So, yeah, some of us have tested that. It definitely does that. So what else we got? Joel Dorden is in the Reaper users group looking for scripters, and he's looking for something close to LBX Stripper. Hey Skip, hey Warren. If you haven't tried LBX Stripper, it's a lot like SWS Live configs for Reaper, where you can control Reaper you can turn Reaper into your ideal dream guitar rack system, and you control it with the regular old MIDI pedal board like you use on anything else. It is mind-blowing. LBX Stripper adds a lot of other features, but it looks like Joel wants to do a little bit more. So if you're doing scripting, EEL or Lua or Python or whatever, if you can write rescripts, let Joel know. He's guaranteed you can find him on the Reaper users group on Facebook, or probably on the Reaper forum itself. So, a big thing of this week was bringing my studio home, and I've been watching a lot of you guys as you move your audio setups to your houses. As this goes on, man, I tell you, the first thing that was killing me is the chair. Like, I'm just sitting on a chair. It should be fine. And sitting, in front of my computer setup, everything looks like the hardware should work. I brought, I brought a Motu 896 home. Oh boy, that's a whole nother thing. So I brought the 896 home, and I'm sitting there working on this thing. And as I'm trying to do streams or whatever, people are asking me if I have the no word because it sounds like it's hard for me to breathe. And I think it's just the way I'm sitting in that chair, man. I'm like out of breath the whole time, which is bizarro. So, I guess ergonomics. I'm always harping on ergonomics, and man, I think I really blew it on this one. So if you guys got any chair hacks, let me know, because I probably can't go and buy anything right now, and but maybe there's some kind of trick, I don't know, but I think I'm like just scrunched up or something, and man, yeah, sitting here, I'm actually back at the school right now. I'm putting everything back together so that just keep everything running, just trying to keep a schedule. I'm having a lot easier time of breathing, so I think it was the chair and not the no word. So I also brought home some monitors, and that I needed a DVI to HDMI cable, so I ordered one, and of course it comes in, and it's coming from New York City. So I know, but I'm a little paranoid about packages. And so hopefully I disinfected everything pretty good, stuck it together, seems to be working, and no word yet. Speaking of that 896, it's a Motu, it's a Mark III. It's the one with the FireWire and USB. I think it's probably the last FireWire device they made, the 896 Mark III hybrid. And like I keep bringing up, even brought up earlier in this episode, how hard it is to get audio from one program to another on Windows. I'm using that one. Oh, that reminds me, I should bring home an RCA cable. I need to do that. Okay, don't let me forget to bring home an RCA cable. I'm just instead of doing anything sensible through software like we should have after 20 years of software, I'm doing loopbacks. So I'm sending my audio from Reaper out, and actually my main Windows audio out ADAT port A output 1 and 2, and so then I'm able to then I'm sticking ADAT A's output port into ADAT B's input port. So anything that I'm sending out of the ADAT, in addition to being, I have my headphones set to that ADAT 1 and 2, so I can listen to, I wonder if there's a way like on the RME where you can quickly switch that stuff, like in Total Mix. There may be, but so I can hear through my headphones, and I can also send Reaper's output back into the OBS's input or Skype's input. So I have Skype actually on a different set of channels. Hey, let's see. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. But what about converters, Motu RME, which has the best drivers? The only RME converter that I have is, I used to have the ADI 8DSs. I think that's what they're called. I had 3 of them with Jimmy Z, and those converters, they were some of the earliest 96K converters you could get and whatever. But I always used them at 44K or 48K. They worked awesome. That's a long time ago. My new RME that I'm talking through right now, it's just ADATs. It's the RME Digiface USB, but it does have one set of converters for headphones, and they seem fine. I don't know. I'm really gear agnostic. It's hard to say. Nowadays with converters, I know people still want to fight about them and stuff, but in general, even the cheapest, crappiest converters, they're pretty good. I did there's a couple shows I did about actually testing audio. In fact, let me see if I can pull this up for you. There's on my website, pipelineaudio.net, there's a set of articles on real gear measurements where I actually tested analog to digital converters and all this stuff. The Motus weren't quite as flat as some of the other things. Oh, hey, Samson, I'm actually at the school broadcasting. That's why. So, yeah, I'm making sure everything's plugged in, everything's still good, and just cleaning up in here. the Motu converters, they weren't quite as flat as some of the others, but I'm talking like half a decibel or something at the most. So it's not by much. I mean, it's crazy how good these converters all are right now. Now drivers, okay. When you're talking, if you're asking about drivers, now we're talking. Now, I've always said Motu and RME are on this crazy 2-horse race, and Jim Roseberry showed a couple times that Motu had actually kind of, I think, pulled ahead in a couple situations, not many. We'd have to really ask him about that. But Motu's drivers are really good. At the school for a while, I was running 2 Motu 2408 Mark IIs. I think those were made in 1999, and I was running the 324 and the 424 PCI cards with it. Yeah, PCI. And they still had drivers for them, So, I mean, what does that tell you? And they worked. They were still some of the fastest, lowest latency drivers you can get out there. However, all that said, as awesome as Motu is, RME is just unbelievable about drivers. I'm not going to bore you with the story again about how I used my last $10 to send Justin Frankel an RME card for coding Reaper on, but he still has that card, and as far as I know, he's still using it. So these were cards that were made, I think, as well in 1999 or earlier, or just a little bit later. These are the RME HDSP 9652s. They still make drivers for those. The guy who does the Vim, who does the benchmarking software for DAW. Is it just DAW Bench, right? Am I getting DAW Bench and DAW? Yeah, I'm getting DAW Box and DAW Bench confused. Yeah, DAW Bench. They just did a podcast where they had Matthias Karstens from RME on, and that Matthias. So yeah, some of you guys know I used to have some knockout dragouts fights with him, but I always liked him. He just thought he was wrong sometimes, and I'm sure I was wrong most of the time. But he had a podcast with Matthias, and they were talking about how they still support all their old drivers. I think there's one that they don't support anymore or something, but maybe that was right. You should go hear it, but the DAW Bench podcast, and they talk about it. I will, if my choice is being decided on drivers, I will take RME every single day, and that's been my story for 20 years now, almost 20 years. I think me and Jimmy Z got our first RME cards in 2001, maybe. Yeah. So, and if I make it through the no word, I'm still going to be using this RME Digiface USB. I guarantee it. It's funny that we're still running ADAT after all these years, right? That thing's got 4 ADAT ports on it. Talk about a home run, man. I don't even know. Alesis does like kind of little things now, but man, they really changed the world with that format. So aside from that, the 896, how I'm doing the loop back, which is still, like I say, it's ridiculous, and I'm hoping my company is going to come up with a solution for that, and I'm pretty sure we are. Aside from that, the other biggie when you're trying to mix at home, it's got to be. I mean, I don't have a hope in hell of a decent acoustic environment there at all. I mean, not even decent. Like throw a bed mattress up or something. It sucks. It's noisy, dogs barking everywhere, and even now with the COOF construction and gas powered leaf blowers don't stop in Hawaii ever. So I'm trying headphones, like they said. Last year I bought some AKG K240s because they were on the list of these new software things that try and make your headphones sound like the speakers you're used to, or at least make it's probably some kind of reversal file to kind of flatten out the curves on headphones. So like I say, the much maligned AKG 240s. If you ever tried to solder them back in the day when they're using, was it aluminum solder or silver solder? I'm sure you have an intense hatred for them, and you'd be right. So those were on the list of one from a product called SonarWorks, and another one from Tone Boosters called Morphit. One of them is much cheaper than the others. Tone Boosters, I really like a lot of stuff they make, but it just seems weirder. I think the SonarWorks one might be a little bit better. I'm not sure what do you guys use? Are you guys using SonarWorks? Are you guys using the Tone Boosters one, the Morphit one? We've heard a lot in the last year, maybe the last 2 years, about even hit records being mixed on headphones. And I think, oh man, you're in Greece. You guys, I hope you guys are okay over there. I heard it's not just the no word that's getting you, but I heard you guys were having some other problems. Oh yeah, thank you. Our gate plugin loves you too. Trust me. Yeah. Are any of you guys running these? Are you guys just mixing on headphones plain without running this kind of software? Like, let me pull it up here. So SonarWorks. They have this whole reference for thing. It's something, I don't know what it is. I guess it's all for, it also does like speakers and things. But they have a thing so that all your sound from Windows, like even like YouTube and games and movies and whatever, go through this thing. So when you do that, I think that would probably get you used to the headphones quicker. I would think that would work. Let me see. I would think that would get you getting used to your headphones quicker if you're always listening to the headphones through that thing. But it's like anything else. When you what is that old saying? Problems in the time domain can't be fixed in the frequency domain. There's some. I'm sure it's like an impulse response or something. So I'm sure that whatever problems that equalization does for correcting rooms or whatever, it's probably gonna be the same as in your headphones. And of course, the headphones aren't going to be perfectly linear impedance wise either. So it's not going to be perfect, but maybe if you hear things enough, as your reference, then it'll probably work out for you, right? I would think. And so this Tone Boosters one says it's 39 pounds. I don't know how much that is in dollars, or 39 euros. I don't know what that is. Sorry. I only know it in American money. But it says hundreds of headphone profiles, 270 headphone profiles, and if they got a big old list, I'll tell you everything that goes on here. It's pretty much everything. Same with the SonarWorks. I really like the so hundreds of headphone profiles, correct, simulate, and customize modes, backed by rigorous science. Now that's the important thing. Also available on iOS, so that's kind of cool. So I should probably be late at night, just plug it into my iPad and run it on there if I'm running this one. Says our scientific research has shown that headphones vary considerably in their response, causing undesirable coloration, making it difficult to create mixes that translate well to other devices. Morphit modifies the audio for your headphones to sound like a neutral studio reference headphone, so you can trust what you're hearing. Let's see, where's this? In the Journal of the Acoustical Society of America. Well, okay. Well, that's a good citation anyway, right? I think I need to join this organization. So the other one, SonarWorks, you can buy with there's a couple different things. Let's see. I think the headphone one, headphone reference for headphone edition, 99 euros or pounds or CE/ things. So, it's like twice the price or whatever. But I don't know. Plays on all your stuff, I think. So I'm not sure. I'd love to know which one you guys are using. if you guys are using one of these things, or if you just bought a set of $5 billion headphones and you just use that instead. I'm going to have to figure out that, and I'm going to have to get a lot more comfortable with my ergonomics, because right now I'm getting, like I say, it sounds like I can't breathe when I'm sitting in that chair. I don't know what the hell's going on. But when I'm not in there, I seem fine. So it ain't the no word, I don't think. I think that's all I had today. So yeah, remember, if you're scripting at all, or if you even want to get into this, Joel Durden is looking for scripters, and you can find him on the Reaper users group on Facebook. Okay. So this is from, man, I wish I knew how to pronounce your name. The cool guy from Greece. I've been using the SonarWorks plugin on my speakers. I usually just check mixes on my headphones. The SW is pretty good. It does, though, create some phase issues, mostly on the low end. See, that's what I'm figuring. But using it like an AB plugin, just checking how your mix translates is pretty great. I guess the linear phase thing must be taken into account. Yeah, well, so you have that too. I actually first heard of this from Brandon Hires, of all people. I don't know. Hopefully SonarWorks is paying him, or whoever it was. But I took something home. I did mix. What did I mix? I mixed something. I mixed something that actually goes to my regular mastering engineer, and he didn't say anything. But he's been dealing with me for years, so maybe he's been dealing with me for more than 20 years. Maybe he's already used to not saying something to me. I don't know. But he didn't, it seemed to turn out fine. I got the masters back. It sounded great. So, I think that was fine. So I guess I got to pick either Morphit or SonarWorks, and just pick one and just get to work. That's probably the way to go. And I think that's it. I should be having some more stuff coming out this week. I've really, like I say, I've got to really get back down to cracking to writing manuals, articles, frequently asked questions, and doing a lot of videos. But this chair situation, or whatever it was, is actually slowing me down on live streaming. And I know they're saying make more edited videos, but everybody makes edited videos, and I used to make piles of those things, right? I do need to get some more of those. I got to make some more instructional videos. And you guys, don't forget that on our website, and it's not the best, because this guy, he's been yelled at enough that he's not going to mess up too much. So, but if you go to our articles and videos section on our website at aixdsp.com, go to tutorials and product videos, and there's a set of files you can download for free, and it's got a really well recorded drum set and a video at the same time, so you can actually see what's going on while you hear the files. So you can, while you're learning how to use gates or compressors or EQs or whatever you're doing, you can actually see what drum's being hit. You can see everything, and this is actually a really handy set of files that you should be able to learn a lot from. And really, I meant to be making a whole ton of tutorial videos using that video and audio series. And really, if had the world not fallen apart, I was trying to get an entire live band, and actually really hoping that was going to be Misdemeanor. And hopefully I'll get that soon. And what it'll be, it's a whole live band recording at the same time. And that way you'll be able to see on the video everything. The guitar picks go on, hopefully, the drumsticks, which drum's getting hit. And I really think that, we've kind of done this with our plugins, that the more, I like to make things very visual. I just think the more information you're presented in a smart manner, the better you can. I mean, what's your ultimate goal? To me, it's to get the sounds that I hear in my head to come out of the speakers. And the more I can understand about the sound that I'm working on, the easier that is for me. And so I really think that having a video of the exact audio that you're working on, it's really helpful. So this is free. It comes with the Reaper file, so you can just open it right up in Reaper and it'll just play. But you can use this thing on anything. So feel free to grab this. Yeah, thanks, Scott. Feel free to grab this set of files. It's I think it's like a gig or something, but it's got a video, it's got a multi-tracked audio, just drums, and like I say, if you see the picture here, you'll see that the cymbals are pretty far from the toms. So really, this was meant to show you how to use multiband gate, but the way he plays, you don't really have the problems that multiband gate was created to solve in the first place. So epic fail there, but it's still a very educational thing. And this is the same reason why we made Intuition Compressor. I really wanted to stick an oscilloscope and a compressor together. So you always hear these claims, and half the times they're religious claims, let's face it, where this compressor does this magical thing. And yet, if you really put them both on an oscilloscope and you look at the before and after, you don't actually see the thing they're talking about. Or sometimes you do, and that's pretty amazing as well. So our new Intuition compressor, I made it so that you could, you're going to see what exactly is happening to the waveform as it's going, and that was the point of that. And I kind of got that idea from GVST. If you ever seen their G comp or G clip, they kind of have a thing like that. Just not as comprehensive, but I mean that was a really good idea of theirs. And if you notice in general on our plugins, that's really what we're trying to do is just make it. If your eyes are, I know, man, you hear from the curmudgeons about don't ever mix with your eyes, but you know what? If your eyes give you better information in a quicker fashion, I'm going to use that on the as much as I can to help you, to help me. And in the end, I'm not making. Don't tell my partners this, but I'm not making plugins for the whole world to go buy. I'm making plugins because I want to use. I need the plugins that I want to use. That we're not making these. I wouldn't be making plugins that I don't need to use. These are things I need every day. Like auto engage. Come on, how long do you guys hear me screaming about that one? I don't know if you use it, but oh man, I sure do. In fact, if you guys haven't checked that out, go check that out. It's one of our lower price plugins. Just basically takes the MIDI continuous controller info and adds another MIDI CC switch to it so that you can turn on and off things like wah-wahs, or what I'm seeing people use it for is they're turning on and off their volume automation when they're mixing. So that's actually a really good idea. So yeah, you guys who are doing that, keep doing it. Also, Phil Zio, man, he is in a hard place, but he is broadcasting, and he was doing his exploring Cambridge MT library thing again. So check out Phil Zio's channel on YouTube. He's always doing those live mixes where you get to watch him mix the same songs that you can go download for free from that same place. And I think that's about it. I need to get some exercise. I've been cooped up. It's been crazy. I got to ride one day through this whole thing. And I know that sounds like really horrible first world problems while everybody else is going through hell. But I would like to get some exercise. And hopefully they don't nail me for riding around Kailua town, because I think that's where I'm going to go and try. I mean, they told us to go get exercise, and they said we could go surfing. And today I see a whole bunch of people squished up together in a farmer's market, so I really don't want any crap about it. But I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully I'm going to have some news on the moving audio around between apps front. And I'll see you guys later.